Hello, and here we are back with our next round. We need to draw up to 13 cards. We've got 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 cards. We have so far managed to get 11 points. If we get 4 more points, then we should be able to win this. Let's see what we can do. We have one which is called Knee Deep in Doom. And in order to do this, we need to fulfill, need to have 20 points of monsters worth in our story deck. Let's see how many we've got. 2, 6, 10, 14. So now we need to get a little more stuff done. Okay. We are currently in Boston. We are going to play William Channing Webb because he's an ally we can play in any location. And then we are going to play Cloud Memory, which is a spell which we're going to assign to the Ponape scriptures, which allows us to bury any phobias, all phobias affecting us. So what we now need to do is we now need to go to, let's just go to Innsmouth actually. So we travel. Storm. Bury travel or air by sea cards. Bury travel by air or sea cards on top of any story deck. Oh god, no gates, no gate use. Okay. So we arrive, but we can't use the gate. However, obviously the Mythos can. That's not good. Okay, so let's just then play another ally. And let's move to Danvers, hoping that we will get rid of this storm event. Whoops. Oh, Beatrice is released from the attic. Choose one ally up to 4 points in value, including weapons that your opponent must bury. Then bury this card. Okay, we can choose... We're just going to choose William Channing Webb and Edgar Allan Poe. We arrive, we gain 4 sanity. We're going to play, okay, I think what we're going to do is we'll have to travel again and hope that we get a... Okay, reduce the attack of any living dead in the opponent's threat by 2 points. We don't have any living dead, so we can ignore this. We arrive. And we're going to discard 2 cards to end this. So we're going to get attacked by a deep one. Add 1 point to the value of this card if your opponent is in a water location, which we are. So we have 2. Add 2 points to the value of this card if a great old one or outer god is in play. It's not. So we face 7 against 2, 5, and Abigail Winthrop Marsh, so they are all going to go away. And then we're going to draw up to 13 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our last hand. We can't even draw up to 13. But we drew another adventure. A heroic rescue. A steadfast author. We've got him, that's a friend and ally of yours, has been abducted by agents of the Mythos. Gathering your friends, you know you can rely on the reporter. The doctor, the private eye, and the wife. She's buried in our deck. The corrupt cultist is also buried in our deck. Where you, we go to a cemetery where we were, where you corner him with a weapon, and where we capture his terrible tome. We can actually solve this one. It's 7 plus 3, so we need 10 monster trophies in our deck, and we have those. So it's 2, 6, 10, 14. So we have finished, because all in all we have now got 18 points of adventures. So that was the game. As you can see, it plays quite nicely in the solo mode. I did make a couple of mistakes, namely I should have played a monster from the Mythos every single time I arrived at a gate location, not just when I used the gate myself. And other than that, I think the Mythos deck itself, the event deck, was actually quite well balanced. I think I would remove this Create Bad Corpse Dust spell, because if I don't have any living dead in my deck, then this card is pretty much useless. I would probably change this out for a different spell. And I've got plenty of spells, so that shouldn't be that big of a problem to give me a spell that is a lot more versatile, as it were. And a lot more powerful. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to replace it with Create Gate, because then I could just, when this comes up, play another Mythos card to the if you like, Mythos threat as opposed to my threat. So I think that makes good sense as well. I think the appeal of this game, and I think it actually lends itself very well to solo play, is to choose a couple of adventures that you would like to complete, and then just build your deck so that you have everything in it that you can possibly win. And then hope for the best with regard to the Mythos deck. Of course, as soon as you start discarding cards from your hand randomly, and I think this is one of the ones that I would like to have there more often, because then once you start to discard adventures, of course, the game becomes a lot harder. I'm not quite sure what this flipping an ally card face down means. Does this mean it stays flipped, or does it stay flipped until the end of the round? I'm not quite sure. So, and this one, I'm not sure what this actually does. So each investigator flips face down one random ally at the beginning of each turn due to the petrifying nature. So when does this actually get discarded? I could treat this like a weather event and then remove it. That's something I could do. So I guess that the Mythos deck itself, the monster deck, was strong enough. I mean, we've got quite a lot of high monsters in there. I actually drew those completely randomly from the most recent packs that I unboxed, so that worked quite well. So there you have it. That is Mythos, the card game with the Lurking Horror Solitaire variant, which you can download from Board Game Geek. If you're interested, you can also still get the cards. They're on eBay. If you are a total fan, I would say, yeah, check it out. If you like card games in general, but you know, have enough to keep you going and are not a total collector, I would say that there are a lot better games out there. Certainly games that you can get a lot more cheaply because they are still in print. And I don't think it's a must-have. So if you don't own this game, if this is the first time you've heard about it and you kind of go, oh, should I get this? Like with all the games, if you're a collector, I would say, sure. If you like Call of Cthulhu, why not? Because it is one of the earliest games that deals with the Cthulhu mythos in a card game fashion, at least the earliest that I'm aware of. For its time, I guess it was a really innovative game as well. And it was produced, of course, by the people who make the role-playing game. But I would also caution you in terms of it's not necessarily the best game ever. And if you like opposed play, you might actually want to check out the now out of print but still available Call of Cthulhu game. I guess I don't know if it's a living card game that was produced by Fantasy Flight Games, which was then stopped and then they replaced it with the Arkham Horror, which plays completely differently because that's a cooperative game. But I think it really depends on what your preferences are. This one plays really well opposed. I've spent a lot of time playing this opposed against a friend and it was a blast. You know, you would just sit down, create your own deck, try to throw as much trouble at your opponent and do as much as you can to protect your own. And of course you can't really, I guess, replicate this playing solo because there is no AI. Even so, you're just drawing and you're trying to build a challenging deck that you can fight, but of course it really would require human intelligence behind it. So while this solo variant is entertaining, I would say it's not the best solo card game that I can envisage. It's good, it's nice, but it's really more, to me at least, like a nostalgic trip down memory lane. So I might do a couple of more playthroughs with different adventures and stuff, even just redoing this particular deck that I just played, because of course I did make mistakes. But I like the solo variant and I think it's worth checking out. If you own this already and you're looking for a way of playing the solo, then I would say check this out. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.